Kia ora e te iwi and welcome to The Chew. Coming at you from the Pūrako studio here in Te Atamira, Queenstown, New Zealand. Ko Arrowtown Dad tēnei, and today we are chewing the fat with Keith Cameron from Flex Fitness. Kia ora, Keith.
Kia ora.
Now to kick things off, bro, we'll just get you to introduce yourself and we'll have a bit of a chat about where you come from as well.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, my name's Keith Cameron. Born in Whakatane, shifted down to the South Island at a young age, and I suppose I call home Dunedin. That's where I spent most of my life. But yeah, that's where I'm from. Now in Queenstown.
Yep.
It's my second home
Yep.
away from home. But yeah, enjoying my time here. Obviously got a different focus while I'm here.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, cool. So where were you born?
Born in Whakatane.
Whakatane, and then you moved down here. At what age were you when you moved down?
Good question. We were maybe at the age of 4. We travelled down, so the whole family came down.
Yep.
Yeah, we moved down. Dad was a school teacher, so
Yep.
travelled down these ways for work opportunities.
Yep.
And then been here ever since, really.
Yeah, right. So you landed firstly at around Matota somewhere?
Yeah, yep. So Dad was a school teacher, a little area school called Ferndale. So we were, back road towards Matota.
Yep.
So, we hopped in the back of a little car and drove all the way down. We had mattresses, dogs, cats, and we made it down safely.
Yeah, cool. And so what are your main tribal affiliations? So
main tribal affiliations, Te Whanapanui, Te Aroa, Ngāti Kahanunu, Ngāti Parau, Ngāti Wharitoa.
Ka whai. Yeah, all of them, bro. Once you start delving in, Yeah, we were just talking about it before, when I'm up north and
there'll be a few that I've missed out on.
Oh, I know, Yeah, you've got to be careful. Oh, sorry, whānau, when I go up north, I'm up, like bumping into an auntie, and she'll do the old, hey, don't forget your Ngāti Whātua too. I'm like, oh, yeah. And so, no, it's cool. Would you say that did you do most of your schooling in Dunedin?
Yeah, all of it.
All of it?
Oh, mostly eating lunch, to be fair. But yeah, went to Tugger Boys. Academically, it wasn't really my fit at school, but I was lucky that I picked up sport at a young age, and that sort of directed me through. Otherwise, I probably would have left school a lot earlier and pursued a building career.
Yeah, right.
But sporting kept me in there and helped me sort of pay some ways in life.
Yeah, right. And I'm gonna just hazard a guess that you're a rugby player, bro.
Correct. That's it. Had a little bit of a rugby background.
Yeah, great. Yeah. Give us a little bit of a bit of kōrero about your rugby exploits. Which teams you played for, and sort of the heights that you scaled to.
Yeah, so I guess with rugby, that was really an opportunity to focus some energy into. So at the age of 15 was probably my first New Zealand team that I got to represent. Yeah. So New Zealand under 16s, and then from that you sort of get into that. I don't know, it's just like a passion. Yeah. And I was lucky enough to go through most age groups. From that, went to New Zealand secondary schools, played 3 years in New Zealand Colts, and then sort of transitioned into some semi-professional stuff. That was when rugby was, from semi-professional to professional. Had a little stint in Auckland. Yeah. Went up there as a young 18-year-old. Yeah. Got an opportunity to go up there and further my rugby careers. Yep. Had a couple of injuries there, lasted there a year. Had the opportunity to stay there, but being a family person, I missed home. Missed my family. Yeah. So I come back down to Dunedin at this stage and had an opportunity there with the Otago and played a game or two for the Highlanders. Nice. As a replacement, sort of a call-in player. Yeah. And then I at that stage, they obviously had a lot of front rowers, which were All Blacks. Yeah. So there was too many of us to hold in a squad. Yeah. So I ended up going down to Invercargill to Southland. Yep. And played down there for a good 4 to 5 years. Yep. And at that stage, I probably experienced more injuries than most people would have, and that was probably what's led me to where I am today in my business. Was the passion that, you know, there's always the nice side of, you know, the limelight of anything, but when you get injured and you're there by yourself, and you know, and you've got a lot of expectation on your shoulders, or you know, or that's all you've perhaps thought about. That was.
Did you put much pressure on yourself when you were, you know, to achieve get to those high levels in rugby?
Yeah, yes and no. Like, I wasn't someone who was really mapped out. I just, the things that I know now that probably I developed was just working hard.
Yeah, right.
I'm just a firm believer now that if you put in the work, then along the way I found a passion. Yeah. Now, the passion started off with rugby, you know, at playing, and then as I matured and experienced things in life, it then sort of led into the well-being side to it, you know, how you're training, how you're feeling, how you're applying yourself, what are you doing with your mind, you know, all these different tools that are sort of presented to you, but maybe you don't know what to do with. Yeah.
So did you receive some of that stuff during your time playing that sort of made you want to move into that area after your rugby as well?
Oh, as far as the physical sort of side to it, I always had a passion for that. Yep. I've had an older brother who, you know, did exercise science, went through university. Oh, yeah. He was a role model, and sort of gave me that pathway. But I guess the other part to it is it just sort of naturally happened. Right. I was brought up around lots of different people. Yeah. So a big part of coaching, a big part of learning and watching and, you know, helping people develop is understanding where they've come from and, you know, and sort of what shoes that they've been what they've on their foot. And, so, you know, that helps to a certain degree. But then you've got to sort of find a passion for it. Yeah. I guess that's the biggest part is having that hunger and passion, and then putting in the work. That's probably the most important part with being a successful rugby player, because there's a difference between being a rugby player or a business person or being a successful one. Yeah. In my belief.
Absolutely,
you know? Absolutely. So you've got to be prepared to put in the work.
So, you know, before all the injuries hit you, was rugby, did it ever feel like a chore? Did it ever feel like it's something that you had that pressure to go and do, and you're losing the passion for it?
No, it didn't, because I enjoyed the training aspect of it. Really? Yeah, and where I was sort of going with that story was it flipped. I actually gained more satisfaction in the training side to it than I did the competing and, you know, the winning side, because it's one thing at going out there and winning and getting the limelight. Yeah. But there's the other component to it of actually, you know, the your processes that you have to go through to be there. Yeah. You know, and sometimes they were shown to you. Yep. But it just depends on you know, who you're surrounded with. You know, some people are surrounded with some really good advice, and some people don't. Yep. So you find your way through it if you're hungry enough, I believe. Yeah. So I think you touched on it earlier. Was your position in the front row? Yeah, I was the front row. Yep, predominantly. Yeah, right. And so, you know, like, I've never scaled the heights of, like, I played rugby because, like, as a Māori, you just get forced to play rugby all the time. So, but I never hit the heights of any kind of rep teams. Yeah. So I'm interested to know, this is the kind of thing that comes up, you know, when you're having a beer and, you know, and you talk about the guy that didn't make it kind of thing. Yep. You know, he was better than all these All Blacks. So did you ever meet anyone along your journey, you know, maybe in the Colts or in the under-16s in that early time frame where you just saw guys who were like, they were going to be world beaters, but they never made it to that level? Yeah, lots. Yeah. I guess, you know, I think it stems back to the individual who wants to put in the work. Yeah, right. that's why that's so ingrained in me now, and with business it's a big highlight now.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's too many to name. You know? It's like I can name a few in my family. You know.
For sure.
Yeah, it's the ones that they put in a little bit more work, and I guess it's finding out what the why is.
Yeah.
You know, what makes you tick and why you're putting in the work is a big component to it. Yeah,
I think, I don't know this for certain, but I would assume that the perfect storm is a mix of talent, work ethic, you know, putting in that hard work and like bringing it all together to like, I don't know, turn into Richie McCaw or whoever. Yep. And so there's lots of people with the talent of a Richie McCaw, but they don't have all those other things that bring it together.
Yeah.
But it's fantastic chatting to someone who's sort of, you know, rubbed shoulders at that level. And I guess now moving along, it sounded like at some point you started to get quite a lot of injuries.
It just happens in a contact sport.
Sure. And did you feel like your rugby career was sort of cut short early because of it, or was it just a natural progression?
Oh, well, it was. You know, I actually, when I stopped playing for Southland, because that's what I got to, and then we went off on another wee adventure.
Yeah, right.
I actually finished playing rugby. I retired because my knees were really bad and I could hardly walk, and that's when I sort of went on a bit of a journey to self-heal and self-develop, and that hunger to find out why that was happening to me.
Right.
So, it could have been quite organic the way that I did it.
Yeah, nice.
What I did was just put in work, and that was my why at finding out, you know, about the body.
Yeah.
And then putting in the work at, you know, doing the work, doing the exercises and so forth.
Yeah.
And I was lucky enough to come back after that year and then go on and play for the Highlanders and then play for New Zealand Māori All Blacks.
Nice.
For a few years and then extend my playing career.
Right.
And then I had the opportunity to go overseas after playing with the Māoris, you know, because you get put onto a different stage.
Yeah.
But I chose to stay in New Zealand and go down the coaching pathway.
Okay.
So I then coached for the Highlanders and Targo and and then led into business.
Yeah.
That's what sort of led me into business. So I didn't go and study business.
Yeah. It's just a natural pathway. You seem to have sort of, as things changed in your world, you moved into that next natural pathway rather than go, I'm going to choose to go there. It sort of moved you in those directions?
Oh, 100%, yeah. I think just hard work.
Yeah.
You know, that's the...
Yeah, for sure.
I didn't know, I'm going to go and open a commercial gym in Queenstown. You know, no way did I ever think that I would have been able to do that.
Yeah, fantastic. So just touching on that whole coaching part of it, did you have a particular coach when you were coming through that was like how you modelled how you coached when you got to that coaching stage, or was yours just like a whole new kind of way that you wanted to approach the coaching?
No, I didn't. I was lucky enough to have lots of different coaches.
Yeah.
But I think it was just a natural thing, coaching to me. I'm still a coach to this day.
Yeah, right.
So in different areas. But, you know, there's lots of people that influence the way that you coach or the way that you think.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing there is that I'm a great believer that I want to have a big bowl.
Yeah, right.
So that I can, you know, continuously learn and evolve, and once you stop doing that, then, you know, where are you?
Yeah.
But
sure.
there's not one individual.
Yeah.
There's lots of coaching traits from my father and my grandfather.
Nice.
That happen naturally. You know, it's a great thing for the human body when you watch. You know, I've got children now, and I'm watching my son, and I can see things happening through him that are a family resemblance.
Right.
So things just happen naturally.
Yeah.
But it's just that hunger and want to give back.
Yep. And so we'll sort of touch on the whole business side of things. So you mentioned that you had a business in Dunedin before you moved to Queenstown, is that right?
Yeah, correct. Yeah. Yep. So we had a couple of businesses in Dunedin, but it's been a stepping stone to get to a commercial gym.
Right.
So in Dunedin, we formed, my wife's a chiropractor.
Yep.
So when we had our first child, Coco,
Yep.
we decided that she was no longer going to work for someone. I was a subcontractor as a personal trainer and still, playing rugby as well. So I always worked multiple jobs. And then Mum and Dad gave us an opportunity in a building. So we started in a room probably half the size of this, where there was just the two of us. And then we grew that, and, I did the strength and conditioning side to it. We outgrew that building, and then we built a custom-made establishment in Dunedin.
Yep.
So we set up that business called Kinetic Health.
Okay.
And, our goal was to have a gold standard treatment.
Yep.
Quite a holistic approach for individuals.
And focusing on sports in particular, or just sort of any or not rugby, but just high performance sport type stuff, or just anything?
No, it wasn't really. It was. We knew different systems that we wanted to have. My background at getting lots of different treatment, whether it's training, whether it's stretching, whether it's massage. But we just wanted to bring it all together under one roof and then develop systems around what we thought would work well.
Yeah.
Now, we did have an involvement with sport, with rugby, because I was coaching at that time as well. So we used to, have a lot of practitioners that would look after sports people inclined.
Yep.
But the main focus was movement. Just getting people to move better, and sometimes it was in a gym, sometimes it wasn't in a gym, but that was what we specialised in. Yeah,
right. And so, how did the decision to move to Queenstown come about?
Well, that was my dream is always to have a commercial gym.
Right.
So it was an opportunity that we both seen. My wife was managing a big team of people. We were working fairly hard there. She's from America.
Right.
So, the mountains.
Yeah, right.
I'm a little Māori boy that from the ocean.
Yeah,
so it
right.
was like a really different blend. But we're actually had another business where we were doing a bit of property development.
Yep.
And we'd done a bit of research with some advisors around the countryside of, one, where we'd want to live, and two, of opportunity.
Yeah.
And Queenstown, it sort of stood up on our radar because it was a good place that, international airport, we could travel if we wanted to. Although we haven't done, we didn't know getting into business that you won't have time to get out there. But it's there, and then the lifestyle,
Yeah.
We had two young children, and family's a big part to my why.
Yeah.
And I wanted to give them something that I didn't have.
Yeah, so, fantastic.
Yeah.
So the decision to come to Queenstown was very much to start the business. It was the sole intention of getting that business started.
Yeah, with a different lifestyle for the family as well. But that was our our big focus. Obviously, there's a lot that has to happen before you just pack up and move to Queenstown.
Yeah, for sure. And so your business is Flex Fitness.
Correct.
It is a franchise business.
100%. Yeah.
And so. So I'm not familiar with how that whole franchising piece works and how much effort it takes to sort of to set yourself up as a franchise. Was that a difficult process to go through?
Yes and no. It's there. It's the research, and then the big part of it's money.
Yeah, right.
Having the right amount of money to set it up.
Yeah.
All the way through the country, probably Queenstown's one of the harder places to set up.
Yep.
We're in line with Auckland, or if not, a little bit more expensive. Where it's harder to get building materials.
Yep.
It's harder to
get
specialised people to send down.
Yeah.
Gym equipment.
Just
flooring.
getting a tradie's hard work in this town.
Time.
Yeah. Yep.
So I was lucky enough that I've got a building background that I actually did most of it.
Nice.
My family didn't see me for probably 4 months.
Right.
I was working around the clock. I ended up building, doing predominantly most of it.
Oh, wow. So Was it an easy decision to go with the franchise versus start up your own thing?
Yeah, 100%. Like again, we did our research. We liked what Flex had. We liked their, it was set up by New Zealand family.
Yeah.
And they just gave us the opportunity to be able to, we obviously come with a little bit of experience in this field.
Yeah.
They had a really good brand and product.
Yeah, right.
Standards, the colour scheme, just everything from look, appeal.
Right.
Fitted in alignment to what our beliefs were.
Right.
The biggest thing there was, we wanted to have a high standard with everything that we did.
Yeah.
And they definitely do have that across the board.
Right.
And it's a fast-growing franchise. I think it's, soon to be 40 gyms open in New Zealand.
Wow.
So it's growing fast, and they put a lot of time and effort in.
Yeah.
A lot of people say you pay a lot of money for things.
Yeah.
I'm a great believer of it's not the money that you pay, it's what you do.
It's the value, yeah.
With the work. You can sit and look at something and say, hey, that's worth a lot of money. I got nothing out of that. But
yeah.
It's what you go away and do.
Yeah.
So that's what we've focused on here in Queenstown.
Yeah.
Yes, we are a little bit isolated.
Yeah.
We're the only Flex around this area. The next closest one's Dunedin in Christchurch.
Is that a good thing, or would you see that as more an advantage or a disadvantage?
It depends on who you are as the business owner. I guess when you get into a franchise, and if you didn't have the experience that we had to get in and do it, then I'd say it'd be a disadvantage.
Yeah.
But if you've come from that background and more importantly you're passionate about it, then passion overrides a lot of different things.
It does. You can make it work.
Yeah. But yeah.
No, fantastic. So, so your gym, like, it's easy to go, oh, okay, you've got a gym. But really, I'd like you to just sort of let us know what it is that you provide as a space within the gym.
Yeah, cool. So Flex Fitness is obviously a 24-hour gym model.
Right.
So once you join one gym, you get access into any other Flex throughout the country.
Right.
So that's one of the key advantages, and the other key component to it, as I've mentioned there, it's got very high standards.
Yep.
So we put a lot of time and effort into client care, the standard of equipment, the cleanliness, style, and also it's really important there's a lot of people there that are scared of gyms. So what we wanted to do was not have a facility that perhaps specialised in sports, that specialised in bodybuilding. What we wanted to do is really, and that's what Flex is really good at, is providing a nice, safe, family-orientated gym that welcomes everyone at all levels.
Right.
And then put in place is, how do we support individuals in all these different brackets?
Right.
Meaning someone who's just starting out or never been to a gym, doesn't know, what half the gym equipment is.
Yeah.
Through to a bodybuilder or a powerlifter or sport specific.
Wow.
Through to elderly. Elderly is another really important part that I enjoy working with, because movement's so important as we age.
Yeah. That's quite a wide range of expertise required, I would think, to go from the absolute beginner right through to bodybuilders, powerlifters, and then onto the elderly as well. Do you have people working at your gym that are sort of specialists in those areas, or are you expected to sort of be able to handle the whole range? Yeah,
we've set up a good system in and around that. We also specialise in a model called personal training or private training.
Yeah.
So with that really dives a lot deeper into, getting results.
Yeah.
There's a difference between having something, but there's a big difference about how do I get results.
Yeah, right.
So that's how we train and coach people. This is what we do to get results.
Yeah.
There's 4 key elements with that.
Yeah.
But the main setup of exercise delivery is with an exercise director, and that is me, who organises all the training content.
Yep.
And then we have coaches that will help deliver our training content to each individual at their level. So we go through a pretty in-depth consultation process.
Yep.
That way I get to meet them, find out about what they've done before, what they haven't done,
Yep.
and then I'm directing them what is the best road to take to get them to where they need to be, you
Right.
know, based on their circumstances.
Yeah.
For some people, it's financial. For some people,
good point.
Some people, it's nutrition.
Yeah.
For some people, it's getting transport to the gym.
Yeah.
So, you know, we meet a lot of different people of all different walks of life.
Yeah.
The biggest thing about that was when you gain a lot of knowledge in that area, you want to help out more than one person.
Yeah, of course.
So you've got to get it out to a lot of people.
And so, speaking of getting it out, so when you first opened your doors, was it hard to sort of get your membership up in the early stages, or?
Yes, it was.
Yep.
It was hard. Like I said, Queenstown is a small little setup.
Yeah.
So and us not coming from here or not knowing anyone at all.
Right.
But that was the challenge.
Yeah.
And that was the focus. You know, we just put our head down, focus in on what we had to do.
Yeah.
There's a lot of moving parts in that business, and what we've done in the 5 years is we haven't sat there idle.
Right.
You know, we've put a lot of time and effort in to develop the systems.
Yeah. Right.
Because one day, you know, in business, you've always got to have something to be able to sell or something to be able to hand on, you know. The old saying in rugby, you know, you're wearing, you know, this jersey and you want to leave it in a better state for someone else to come along. It's exactly the same, you know, motto that's been ingrained in me in business, is that I know that, you know, the business that I've set up here, that I've given my all and I've, you know, taken it to where it needs to be, and if someone else ever steps in and takes over that business, that I know that, you know, they're going to do a great job.
Yeah. And so obviously in the early days it was a bit hard, but you've been going for 5 years now, did you say? Correct. Yep. So for 5 years now, and are you happy where things are at the moment? Did COVID affect you that much when it came through?
Oh, it affected everyone. You know, it was a different time. It changed the way that, you know, a lot of things. But to be honest, because we're so busy and we'd never had, you know, hardly a weekend off or a holiday or a break, for the first couple of weeks there, it was really refreshing.
Yeah, right.
There was obviously lots of other emotional things,
of course,
you know, change in your mind. But for me personally, it was like, I get to sit back and, you know, take a breather, refocus and, you know, plan ahead. But coming out of that, you know, there was a lot of, we had to change the way that we were doing things. We had to be innovative. We had to, you know, go through and make it happen as well. Yeah. There's one thing about thinking about it, but then there's actually, well, hey, I'm going to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and start work at 3, you know. It's like, why am I doing that? It's because I need to. Yeah, right. Or I'm going to sit back here and go for walks. You know, I still did that, but we still made sure to use that time wisely, you know. Yeah. Recharge the batteries when you need to recharge them, but then look to go ahead again.
Yeah, cool. So within your business, what things do you love the most about what you do within your business? And secondly, what are the biggest challenges that you face sort of day to day?
Oh, people, you know, changing people's lives. And if someone comes into that establishment and they're scared, they're timid, they don't know what it's about, because it's, you know, even, you know, people being around me sometimes, you know, he's a big scary looking guy, but it's being able to give back and being able to show your skills and then watching them grow and develop. And then the big part about that is watching them pass that on, because that's the biggest thing about health and well-being, or in our industry, is the more people that you can show, the more that's going to pass down through lines. And the most challenging thing is probably just getting people to come in. Yeah, right. You know, because it's that factor that if you're not out there in that, if you're not walking down that same lane, then you're not associating yourself with those people. Yeah. So my lane is very much focused in the gym environment. Right. Not saying that I don't want to be down other lanes, but that's just because I'm so focused and determined to give my all. Yeah, within your business. Yeah, for sure. It's just the way I am. I'm 110%, you know. It's like, if I'm there, I'm going to be there.
And so this is an interesting question for you. How does being Māori influence what you do within your business, or does it influence anything you do within your business?
Yeah, good question. I always remember that when we played for the New Zealand Māoris, and that was the same sort of question. And I guess the takeout of that is that it's first being Māori is I've got Māori running through my blood.
Yeah.
So I don't really look at it as a pathway to get anything.
Yeah.
Or to put my hand out.
Yeah.
I just use it as I'm someone who thinks deeply.
Yeah.
But I think deeply when I'm doing something good.
Yeah, right.
My why. This is why I'm doing this extra, because it's for my family, and I know that for my family it's going to be a pass on effect.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't get too tied up too deeply with it.
Great.
I just focus on what I've got to do on a daily basis.
Yeah. Fantastic. And so, do you have any need to connect in locally with other Māori businesses in particular, or actually any businesses, but specifically Māori is where the question's focused?
Yep. Yeah, we're all about connecting. Well, I'm all about connecting with anyone that is like-minded.
Yeah.
That goes right down to anyone who comes into the gym, There's either a connection or there's not a connection.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to sit there and pretend that there's no connection if we can't help them.
Yeah.
So a short answer to that would be yes, because, it's all about connection and growth and development. It's just finding out how to connect.
Yeah.
And what the different organisations or different people have to offer or need help or support with.
Yeah.
And the other part to that is time. Everyone's time short and time precious because you're on the clock, and
especially in Queenstown.
Or just being a business owner. Owner, you're managing lots of different parts.
Yeah.
There's two different type of business owners. You're either sitting there watching your business, or you're actively in your business. I'm actively in it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that I don't want to sit to the side and watch my business, but it's a stepping stone.
Yeah. So this interview is actually a collaboration with KUMA. So I'm not sure, have you had any interactions with KUMA, the Southern Māori Business Network? At all from a business perspective or other?
Yes, we first had interaction in Dunedin.
Yeah.
So we had a little bit of support there and guidance in our very first business.
Great,
coming out.
Fantastic.
So that started the journey. But then from that, I just like I keep saying is like I just knew I had to do the work.
Yeah.
And I'm probably not someone to put my hand out.
Yeah, I know.
Even from my own family.
Yeah.
I'll just, I know what I've got to do and I'll do it.
Yeah.
And that can be a good thing and a bad thing.
Yeah. For sure.
Can burn out and do all those sorts of lovely things.
Yeah.
But that's all part of the process. And
yeah. Have you felt you've been close to burning out at any stage in your business journey?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Yep. Definitely. Yeah.
Yep. And do you think that's a personality trait? Like you've got to tell yourself you need to hold back sometimes?
Oh, it's just understanding. It's okay that you're pushing hard. It's exactly the same with training.
Yeah.
You're going to push really hard. You're going to get into different zones of how hard you're working or the effort level.
Yeah.
So it is. The skill there has been known how to pull back.
Yeah.
So it's looking for signs.
Yeah.
It's looking for the trigger.
Yep.
And then the key part is having a process in place. What am I going to do now?
To manage it. Yeah.
Rather than, I'm burning out. That's it. That's me. I'm done. That's it.
Throw the toys out of the cot. Yeah.
So, it comes back to a lot of processes.
Yeah, right.
Survival mode as well,
Yeah.
But yeah.
Fantastic. Oh. Now, just talking about some of the KUMA events that have been on recently, did you happen to attend the awards dinner that we had a couple of months ago?
Yeah, I was very lucky to go with my mother actually. So she's a big reason probably why I'm here.
Yeah.
To be fair, and Mum was. I know that whole process. If it wasn't for Mum, I wouldn't have filled out the forms.
Yeah.
Not because of wasn't proud to be a Māori business person. It was just the fact that I'm trying so hard and what I was trying to achieve.
Yeah.
And like I said, time.
Yeah, time
poor.
Yeah.
I was just doing more than one person's job. You
and
know?
Of course, you just want to focus all your efforts on that business thing, you know. Sometimes it is hard to step out and celebrate what you do and do that networking and stuff, unless it's going to directly aid in your long-term goal within your business, right?
Correct.
So I just want to pause on something there that you mentioned. So, yeah, your mum, Whaiaroka Cameron, she's a Tonga in this region, really famous. She's such a famous person, but a real you know, a po of the Māori community here as well. So, I didn't, like, I've known Whaiaroka for probably about a year now, around that time, you know, when she's first moved back to the community. So it's fantastic to meet you, actually, because I can see the likeness. It's uncanny, actually, but yeah, I just love being around your mum, you know, having anything to do with her in any way that we can help out. So, it's been great to meet you now, finally. Yes. So, so we'll get back onto the business side of things as well. So you were a finalist in one of the awards, the award categories, the He Tohu Rangatira Whakahaere, the Leadership Award. So, you know, I'll be honest, you don't kind of strike me as the type of person that's going to go, yay, I won an award, you know. So, but how do you feel about the recognition through, you know, that nomination? Yeah,
like I said, it was probably more for mum and dad and for the family. When I was, you know, had time to reflect, it was more for my children, you know, to look at rather than for myself. Yeah. I'm someone that just focuses on the work, but that's the main part to it. Yeah, cool. And having the time to go and, you know, celebrate and see other people that are in the same boat, you know, network, all those key things. Just, you know, saying hello to different people. Yeah. Sometimes you got to put your good digs on and get out there and say hello to people sometimes. So on that, so how... obviously, you attended the awards dinner. Did you come away from it with any sort of good experiences, or what did you think about the event overall, especially as it pertains to sort of like a celebration of Māori business? Yeah, I thought that it was very well organised. You know, everyone that put it together was very professional. Yeah. I had a great time once again with my mother. Yeah. She was there and being able to experience that with her, so it's something that I'll cherish and hold on to. Yeah, great. And hearing the stories. Yeah. Knowing people there as well. Yeah. You know, bumping into a lot of people that I actually knew. Yeah. More from Dunedin. Right. Of course. Obviously we've put a lot of effort and time into that community. Yeah. Networking with them and just saying hello. And I was talking to Ailsa earlier, and she did mention that she was surprised at how many people she knew there. Were you surprised at the amount of people that you ended up knowing when you went there? Yes and no. Like I've seen a lot of faces from around here, but to be fair, I haven't really had, you know, large conversations or got to a one-on-one basis with people, but that's with a lot of people because it's for sure. To work and home with the family. So would you have any advice to sort of like a Māori business that would look at it and go, oh, it's one of those Ponzi things where you've got to dress up. I don't want to go to it. You know, would you have any advice to try and encourage anyone to go to something like that, the KUMA Awards dinner, that it's not all corporate as it may appear? Yeah, I think, well, you know, even just filling out the application and that, I was, you know, very close to, you know, you get into the first slot. It wasn't because I didn't want to fill the application out. It was just that time. And I was like, oh, God, I ain't got time to do this. But I'm glad that I I went through with it and followed through with it. But yeah, I'd highly recommend any Māori organisation to be involved because, you know, it is really important to move forward in numbers.
Yeah, right.
If you have got the luxury to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, and get around like-minded people. That's my main philosophy.
Yeah, great, fantastic. So there's quite a few Māori businesses in this region. I'm really only finding that out from doing things like this. Actually, I'll be honest. So this is a different type of question. I'm not sure whether how you might answer this one, but what aspects of being that are uniquely Māori do you think that can be brought into the business realm? Do you think there's anything that we have uniquely as Māori people that can be a benefit when moving into that business area?
Good question. Yeah, I think, you know, people. You know, we're good around people. We're good at entertaining.
Yes.
But in saying that, we also need, you know, good direction and good support, good role models to enhance those skills.
Yep.
And then also have some sort of rewards, because, you know, most things are reward based to you know, knowing where you could be.
Yeah.
You know, and not all of us know that. No. Or have been given that pathway.
Or they can't see the pathway. They're not aware of it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's not just about the free kai whānau, or just a few titi or muscles. But yeah, no, it's a valid point, you know, because a lot of us may not know the pathways and what's achievable. And, you know, let's be honest, it's through rubbing shoulders with people who have been successful, like yourself, that you find out some of these, or you find out, you know, the opportunities that could be there if you work hard and you go for it. So
that's probably a good part too. Is how do you rub shoulders with successful people?
Yeah.
You know, the biggest part there was in business. That wasn't something easily done. We had to physically go out and source it.
Right.
If you're that hungry for it, and you pay to go and do that, but then you're real direct to what you're going to achieve.
Yeah, right.
Versus just going and having a talk, and, you know, all those sorts of things are good.
Yeah, but you've got to have an aim, right?
Yeah, you've got to have a goal.
Yeah,
you know? Comes back to the training aspect as well. If you don't have a goal, you want to keep things simple.
Yep.
And then create a plan.
Yep.
And in that plan, it's a lot easier to overcome a lot of different things.
Yeah. So you strike me as like a goal-orientated person, and you work hard to get to that goal. So this is a different question. I'm just sort of just thinking about this now. Did you step into things that were not your natural comfort zone because it was one of those steps towards your objective? Like, did you force yourself into that? Oh, I don't want to do this. This isn't my thing, but I've got to do it for the business. Yeah,
100%. I did, yes and no. The key part there is when the difference at running a business or setting a business up is that, you know, you've got to find out what your strengths are and what your weaknesses are.
Yeah.
So I don't want to throw myself into what my weaknesses are if I'm not going to be good at that role.
Yeah, good.
Because there's a lot of different key elements to that. And the key part that I want to do is enhance what I'm good at. But the key decision there is know what I'm not good at and then put someone else in that role that is good at it. And then that's, you know, the mindset of teamwork where, you know, rugby is a team game at a high level. And you've got a lot of key people in that setup. I call it, I want to put people onto the seat of the bus that I'm driving.
Yeah, right.
Okay, and everyone in that seat has a specific role.
Place,
but the key part to it is that driver understanding everything. You know, I'm not a perfect person by all means, but I know what my strengths are, I know what my weaknesses are, and I don't want to dwell too much on the you know, on things that I'm not good at.
For sure.
But I have definitely put myself where I'm uncomfortable.
Yeah.
if I thought that it was going to be for the better.
Yeah, great. Oh, fantastic. And so thinking about the Māori businesses in particular in this region, do you think there's anything we can do better to sort of connect with each other from a business perspective?
Yeah, another good question. That's it. So I think, it's just, I just go back to the time. It's and the same with meeting people. Is that how do you it's knowing what businesses are out there and what they're offering.
Yeah, right.
And that's something that I learnt from the awards, and as you've alluded to as well. I didn't understand that there were so many different other Māori businesses out there and what they do. So that's going to help me understand more, and then you find a way to make it happen if it's the right link. Yeah. Because you don't want to be doing things if it's not for the right reason. I'm a great believer of that. Yeah. Everything that we do in business is for the person to make them a better person. Yeah, right. And then the business side, reaps rewards off that. Yep. That's my belief. Yep. Alignment. So another left field question. I'm just sort of coming up with this as I talk to you. I like it. Yeah. It's sort of, I've just got this real clear vibe about how focused you are about getting to end goal stuff. So have you ever, or would you ever consider being like a business mentor? So like separate to what you do within your business within Flex Fitness, but as a mentor on how to get into and how to drive business forward? Yeah, definitely. I haven't put lots of time into it, but it is definitely something that, with age and experience, it's not just the way that I look at business is not just business. Yeah. It's everyday life. Yeah. Health and well-being, to be able to get rewards from doing things that you practice on a daily basis, a weekly basis, and like I always say to people, a sustainable basis. Yeah, right. That's one thing about exercise or movement or anything we do. We've got to look at sustainability. Sustainability, yeah. It doesn't want to be a sprint race, Yeah, right. And and that, touching on what you said before, really works well with Māori people, I believe. Because we can see, we've got we know where we're going to. If you're going out to get some mussels off the mussel rock, you know what you're going to do, isn't it? You're holding on to that rock, and if someone leaves you there for an hour when you're out in the middle of the ocean, you go, you could be very scared, but you're there to get the mussels. And once you get the mussels, that's it. It's not about me, it's about the mussels, But get them home safely. Because I do sort of get the feeling from you, you'd be a great motivator for people, So I'm sure you do a bit of that anyway, and it's probably part of your role in the gym as well, to sort of get people to to see that their best version of them could be, in there somewhere. Fantastic chat. I really, really enjoyed this chat. We're close to finishing off. So I just have one quick fire question for you, and I don't know if this applies to you, but it might. I'm going to ask it anyway. So, if you could go back in time, what advice would you give to your 18-year-old self back then? I wouldn't give myself too much advice, because I'm a great believer of everything that I've ingrained or everything that I've experienced has made me to who I am today. Yeah, absolutely. But the one thing that I would give to a young 18-year-old person out there now would be find something that you're passionate in. Yeah. I was lucky that I found something I was passionate, but I know there's a lot of people out there that probably still don't have that. Yeah. And once you find something that you're passionate in, then the second thing you need to do is to work hard at becoming as best version of yourself for that passion. Yeah. And you're going to develop all the skills that you need to be successful. Yeah. And whatever way you want to take it, that's your decision, your journey. Yeah. It's all on you. Whether it's picking apples. Yeah. But if you're passionate about that, then people that see you and be around you and employ you will want you to be on their team, and you'll climb up that ranking to that master apple picker. Or on the other side to it, you're
for sure.
Open up your own business, and
No, that's great advice, because I think sometimes, especially at that 18-year-old age, you're probably a little bit scared or apprehensive about jumping into something. But then, of course, once you get old, and you've sort of been through all that, you're like, it's okay, just go for it. You've got support. There's sort of and you'll work your way through it if you work hard enough.
Yeah, and I was lucky, Les. I go back to it. Rugby saved me in that.
Yeah.
That gave me my focus. I had to make sacrifices, and from 18 to 21, it's like everyone's having 21st, and I'm getting ready, training to, go away and play rugby, or I've got fitness tests and that. So that's what I mean about having that focus.
Yeah, that discipline. Yeah.
Well, when you've got that focus, discipline just comes with it.
Yeah, right. So that almost wraps up our chat today. So what's the easiest way to get a hold of you if someone wanted to get a hold of you in your business?
Yeah, we've got multiple ways. So on the easiest way would be just on the website.
Yep.
So just look up Flex Fitness Queenstown. There's multiple ways through there that lead through to emails.
Yep.
That'll be the easiest way.
Cool. Easy. And before we wrap up, do you have any last comments or last little nuggets of goodness that you can throw out there to the listeners?
No, I think don't be afraid to make change. If you're thinking about something, then take action. That's a great word that I like to give to people, because if you're thinking about it, the next process to do is take action.
Do it. Yeah. Yes. So not too much hui, but a lot more doughy, whānau. That's the way we do it. Nō reira, e mihi atu nei ki a koe e te whanaunga. I've really enjoyed our chat today, and really it's been great to get to know you as well. So, thank you so much for that, and thanks for coming in. E te iwi, if you have any questions, if you have any comments that you want to make, pop them down into the comments section down below. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll catch you next time on The Chew. Mā te wā.